This video is going to teach you how to do the following styles. Controller players do 360s like this due to their low sensitivity. You want to hit them high enough so they're right above you and you can stand under them without them being able to hit you. Use at least 85 sensitivity for single 360s, but at least 94 for anything higher so you aren't spinning too low. The ideal ping gap between you and your opponents for hitting big spins is at least 120, so learn to time on a different region so you can space easier. A few tips here for movement and timing. If you time too slow, then they'll be able to hit you. If you time too fast, they'll get out of range, so make sure you're comfortable with comboing a player consistently at the same height. You're going to want to time even slower after you land it so they get back down to a natural comboing height. For the movement, if you play on a higher sensitivity and you tend to pause every spin like this, it's because you aren't moving far out enough to the side. Notice the difference in my left stick when I'm pausing versus when it's consistent. As for the infinite spin rewind, learn opposite side spinning on its own and practice controller back-to-backs too. Also try 720 and 1080 rewinds if you struggle with switching directions after a big spin. Moonwalks are much easier than infinite spins. The setup is basically the same for moonwalking. You get them above you and sprint under them. The only difference is that when you're halfway through the turn, you walk backwards and hit them away from you. This is also much easier on higher ping. A few mistakes I see is that people don't look all the way up, which causes a player to get hit out of the wrong direction and the moonwalk ends early. Another is having most of your corrections being made with your aim instead of your movement. You only want to turn your head when you're certain that the player is going to move out of your path. For Moonwalk 360s, there's two ways to do this. The first way is spinning extremely fast so you treat it like a W tap, which is the preferred method for mobile and keyboard. The other method is to look slightly down to get closer and spin. This is better if you're on controller using full keyboard to spin. If you look too far down or take too long, they'll just escape out of the moonwalk. To learn how to do basic back-to-backs, you can try and go on an easy bot first and then try to do it on an actual player. Here's some tips on spacing. You can try and strafe left or right for every hit you get on your opponent, like here. Another form is to control your distance by the length of your 360s, and if you get too close, just W tap. This is the preferred method for most people. Front F5 360s is where you can only see yourself. In this clip, you can see me directly hitting the player whenever my character is covered by the player. When you're too far from your opponent, you can try and jump for every time your opponent covers your character. Don't jump too often or else you're going to get hit. If you feel like you're too close, you can W tap like we mentioned earlier, or you can just time faster so they go further away. To learn F5 Spam 360s, for every hit, you only want to press your perspective key 3 times. I would recommend making your perspective key something close to your finger so you don't have to reach far and you don't have to move your middle finger when you're doing it. The difficult part is doing it at an inconsistent, faster rate because it gets rid of the pattern. From here, it's just all muscle memory. You can drag if you want to make this easier too. The last section is armor tricks. The hardest part about taking all the pieces off is the CPS because it's realistically only possible if you drag or butterfly click. This is when you're going to want to practice on lower ping. However, if your ping is below 50, you'll likely have a hard time trying one of the methods of the 360. For keyboard players, after you learn an armor trick and a fast clicking method, position your cursor over the helmet or boots. From here, you have to open your inventory, click all 4 pieces in a row while holding shift, then exit the inventory. For controller players, I like to remap my controls so triangle and my hit button are swapped, then swap them in Minecraft. That way I can just spam hit my opponent and just keep holding up and keep spamming in the inventory. Unless you can jitter 15 CPS on triangle, I suggest doing this. For the 360, the way I prefer to spin in the inventory is using a glitch with full keyboard gameplay. Bind your spacebar to smooth turn left or right and put the speed on 80 to 90. To do this, you open your inventory right before you press your spin key. From here, take off your armor during the spin. It's going to vary which pinky you're going to use for the trick based on your controls, so see what works better. The other way is just a 360 before or after you land a regular armor trick. This means you'll have a shorter window to take the armor off, but you won't have to worry about getting the spin glitch and may work better for you on high ping. Thanks for watching and good luck in your next sumo-tage.